From the shores of Africa, they were stolen, shackled in ships, drowned in silence. On stolen land, they built an empire, with blood in the soil and whips at their backs. Freedom came with chains rebranded. Jim Crow wore a suit. They marched, they bled, they rose. From Selma to Ferguson, from cotton fields to crowded streets, they never stopped fighting to be seen as human. After all they've given, do they mean nothing to your nation? Would you give them away?
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Haas.
I'm Cece.
Today we got a hot topic for you. Imagine this. Aliens land in America and they offer everything we've ever wanted. Clean energy, gold, tech to fix the climate crisis. But there's just one catch. They want every black person who has at least 250 milligrams per square centimeter of melanin in their skin in the country in exchange. So in other words, anyone that is black that is darker than a brown paper bag.
And this is without no negotiation, no escape, and just 5 days to decide. Now, here's the parts that's going to make your stomach drop. What does America say? Maybe.
Maybe. This is Space Traders, a short film that was part of a movie anthology called Cosmic Slop that debuted in 1994, written by Derrick Bell, created by Reginald Hudlin, who executive produced with his brother Warrington Hudlin. And this film is hosted by musician and Parliament Funkadelic frontman George Clinton.
Yep.
And derives its title from the 1973 album and song of the same name by Clinton and the Funkadelics.
Right.
It's a moral x-ray of the United States. And what it reveals is chilling, familiar, and too real to ignore.
Right. So let's dive into why Space Traders might be the most important story that you were never supposed to take seriously. Now, the setup is deceptively simple, right? An alien ship appears in the United States.
Right.
And they offer to fix everything. No more debt, no more pollution.
Right.
There's world peace. But their price is they want all black Americans.
In trade for solving all your most pressing domestic catastrophes, we are asking for every person in your country that you would classify as black. We give you 5 days to decide, and the offer is non-negotiable.
As the alien trade proposal is announced, legislatures quickly convene. Public opinion is sharply divided, and most white Americans support the trade, while most black Americans oppose it, of course.
Naturally.
And suddenly, the entire country is in a state of national debate. On the news, in town halls, at kitchen tables. And the debate is not whether it's wrong, but whether it's worth it.
Yeah, that's quite different.
Yeah.
So, black folks become basically a bargaining chip in real time. And you start to hear terms being thrown about like, it's a patriotic sacrifice. And people call it the honorable thing to do. And a few even say, hey, it's not personal. It's progress.
The president's cabinet argues the benefits, economic relief, reduced social burdens, and less racial tension. And then there's a guy named Gleason Golightly, a conservative black economist who tries to appeal to their morality and history but fails to change their minds.
Right. So an anti-trade coalition forms, proposing legislation and emergency plans to protect black citizens. And Go Lightly, as Haas just mentioned, suggests a psychological counter tactic that all black people should pretend to embrace the trade in hopes of making the white people jealous. And I guess by that way of making that, they would want to go too, or they would think it was a bad idea because they didn't want the black people to progress. But
they didn't want black folks to have all of the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't get any.
From now until the polls open this evening, we circulate the rumor that the aliens have arranged for our transport to the wealthiest and most beautiful utopia in the known universe. White folks will go ape, wondering what we will encounter in this new land. They will gnash their teeth. They will even argue that to limit the space traders' offer to blacks is an unconstitutional discrimination against whites.
So that was a great
psychological tactic. Like you said.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But ultimately it was dismissed.
Yeah, that's true.
And meanwhile, corporations fear economic loss and launch emotional ad campaigns. Jewish groups denounce the plan but are silenced by the state. And televangelists frame the trade as divine destiny.
Of all things.
Right. Pro-trade forces push through a 27th Amendment to legalize the removal, claiming the founders meant for an all-white nation anyway.
How about that?
So why are we trying to hold these black folk anyway?
How about that? Now, despite fierce resistance, the courts and public opinion ultimately end up backing the trade. Black Americans are rounded up and sent to these detention centers where they're then departed into these areas where the alien ships, literally beamed them into the sky.
Right.
And the ships leave Earth and it's full of us black folk.
Let's be clear, the aliens aren't the villains. They're the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Let's contemplate that.
Yeah.
Because the real monsters are the ones wearing suits and waving flags. Derrick Bell, the man behind Space Traders, wasn't writing fantasy. He was writing truth wrapped in fiction.
If there's an opportunity for moving a society ahead that requires the sacrifice of black rights, they get sacrificed.
And the truth is this: black people have always been seen as expendable in America. Enslaved for labor, lynched for control, displaced for highways, and imprisoned for profit.
Yep.
This story just makes the exchange explicit.
Right.
And in doing so, it reveals what many are too scared to say out loud.
And what is that? America loves black culture, but it does not love black people. And it will trade black bodies in a heartbeat if the price is right. You better believe it.
Now here's where it gets really wild. In Space Traders, even the white liberals, the so-called allies, fold. They cry. They call it morally complex. But when the vote comes, they sell us out.
And Bell is telling us something brutal here. It's not the racist who are the real problems, or the white allies who put their bodies on the line on behalf of justice for black people and moral change, of course. It's the good white people who negotiate.
They'll hesitate.
Negotiate and hesitate, and ultimately look the other way when injustice knocks. Because deep down, they're always going to choose safety over solidarity, privilege over protest, and in the words of James Baldwin, if they come for you in the morning, they'll be coming for me that night.
So let's talk economics. Why do the aliens want black people?
Yeah, what do you think they wanted with this?
Not resources, not power. I mean, they've already shown that they have all of that.
Right. But
not land. It's not like they were staying. After they took the black people, they immediately left.
They wanted bodies with melanin.
Right.
And what do you think they were going to do with that melanin?
I mean, I can't. I don't know. That's a good question. They could be. It may have a powerful source against X-rays from the sun. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe.
That's what melanin does,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they may drink it. I mean, I don't know. They were gonna take all the black people and suck the melanin out of their skins. I don't know.
But what doesn't make sense is that they had the technology and they had everything. So
Right.
I don't even think they needed us to protect themselves from the sun, because they had climate. They were going to clean up the atmosphere for climate control. So that's the part that's interesting.
Well, they may have been space traders, and so in the word of space traders, they come to one place to give one thing, and then they will get something in return from there and take it to another place.
So we might have been being traded for something else, somebody else.
Right.
How about that?
I mean, this is.
I hadn't thought about that. That's deep.
It's a
That's
rebranded
deep
model of the Middle Passage. It's like the Middle Passage 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And instead of ships from Africa, it's spacecrafts from the stars.
Taking us to the stars.
Yeah.
And the thing about this film is that it forces us to ask, is the idea of blackness more valuable to America than the actual lives of black people? We see this every day. Hip hop culture gets exported globally while black artists get underpaid. TikTok dances go viral while creators get erased.
Yeah.
Black athletes generate billions
with a B.
but face racism from the same fans that cheer for them.
Yeah.
And in the economy of America, black culture is priceless. But black people are pretty much disposable.
Yeah. Gleason Golightly, the black conservative character in the film, is a lifelong card-carrying Republican.
Yeah.
He has also served on the president's captain for both terms and is deeply entrenched with various lobbyist groups and corporate overlords.
Yeah.
He thinks he can outmaneuver the system and plead with officials and show them facts and tries to appeal to their logic.
Gleason represents those black Republicans or black conservative academics who always feels that they are really qualified and they can do it from the inside and they can do more good. And Gleason, in fact, does do a lot of good quietly, but he is certainly scorned by much of the black community. Seen as a token and a handkerchief head, to be perfectly frank.
But guess what? They smile in his face and stab him in his back.
Yeah.
And what Bell is showing us in this, in this type of situation is he's saying that, degrees, suits, tax brackets, none of that matters when whiteness decides you're a problem to be solved.
Yeah.
And this film just isn't about white betrayal. It's about the illusion that if you play the game right, the rules won't change. And let me say that again. It's about the illusion.
The illusion.
That if you play the game right, the rules won't change.
Spoiler alert, they will. They always have.
You knew it was hopeless as soon as the idea was out of the bag. Didn't you?
The black elite and respectability won't save us.
I thought if I did all the hard work, that everything was going to be great. There'd be equality. And I did my part, I think. I studied. I went to high school. I went to college. I got admitted to Harvard Law School. I graduated from Harvard Law School. I started practicing law. And I was on the street in Atlanta, Georgia, a few years after graduating, preparing for a case when police officers stopped me. I got out of the car and the police officers pulled their gun. They pointed it at my head and they said, "Move and I'll blow your brains out." And I had to calm those officers down. And I was humiliated by people in the community. And it was painful to me to reckon with this fact that all of that hard work and education didn't shield me from that threat and violence.
And you think this is fiction? And it is to some degree. But let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now in 2025. Birthright citizenship is under attack.
Yeah.
DEI programs are being dismantled. Books about Black history are being banned.
Yeah.
And politicians are openly floating the great replacement theories.
Up to here, they want open borders. This is exactly their strategy. They want to replace the American electorate with a third world electorate that will be on welfare.
Being invaded by billions and billions of people. Many of them are criminals who should not be allowed into our country.
In political terms, this policy is called the Great Replacement, the replacement of legacy Americans with more obedient people from faraway countries.
Trump really knows what his movement is based upon. You know, we had to know that I ran my campaigns primarily on the immigration issue, on the issues of preserving American culture, on stopping the replacement of European Americans, which people are all talking about now years and years ago.
The trade might not involve alien ships.
Right.
But the offer is still on the table.
Power in exchange for erasure.
Mm-hmm.
Order in exchange for obedience.
Yep.
Peace, but only if we disappear.
Right.
We're not watching space traders play out. We're living it.
Yeah.
Space traders ends with black people being taken and the world moving on. No revolution, no justice, just silence. That's the horror Bell leaves us with. Not aliens, but apathy.
So I'll leave you with this. If the offer was on the table today, was made today, if they could trade us for a better America, would they? Would you?
Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love to hear a conversation around this. And of always, please like and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more. Share this video with your people, with your community. It'd be much appreciated, you know. And if this story is believable, you know, and, you know, if you feel like Space Traders isn't fiction, you know, it's
but more of a forewarning.
more like a forewarning, you know, because we're the ones they'll try to trade.
Yeah.
And the future depends on whether we resist
or board the ship.
Until next time. Peace.
And so as we say goodbye to our dark friends and neighbors, we say hello to a new era of American peace and prosperity. For World News Now, I'm Stryker O'Rourke.